What is the mother of all this? India-EU Trade Pact explained the landmark free trade agreement between India and the European Union, widely dubbed the mother of all deals, marks a historic turning point in global trade relations after nearly 18 years of talks. Both sides have now concluded negotiations, setting the stage for a formal signing and implementation later this year. This pact is not just another trade deal. It aims to reshape economic ties between India and Europe and set a new benchmark for large-scale trade partnership in the 21st century. A long road agreement discussions on a comprehensive trade agreement began back in 2007, making this one of the longest and most complex trade negotiations in India's modern history. Talks stalled for years only to be relaunched with renewed vigor in 2022, reflecting growing economic interdependence and shifting global trade priorities. Negotiators worked through dozens of technical, tariff and regulatory issues, a process that now culminated in political agreement yearly and early in January 2026, with leaders from both sides hailing the outcome as historic. Which part of this deal? This agreement is between India and the European Union, a political and economic union of 27 European countries including Germany, France, Italy, Spain and the Netherlands. There are non-European countries included in this pact. Together, India and the EU represent around 2 billion people, nearly 25% of global GDP, about one-third of global trade. That scale, while leaders have chosen the term mother of all deals. What the deal covers, this is comprehensive free trade agreement, which means it goes well beyond just reducing taxes on goods. Key elements include goods trade, and India and the EU will reduce or eliminate import duties on roughly more than 90% of traded goods. For example, India has offered sharp cuts in tariff on European goods, reducing duties on select vehicles from up to 110% to about 40% initially, with future reductions planned. Services and liberalization. European and Indian companies will find it easier to operate across services sectors like telecommunications, transport, consulting and professional services. Investment and regulatory cooperation. The pact includes agreements on investment protection, standards for intellectual property rights and regulatory cooperation to simplify business across borders. Broader commitments. Beyond trade, the partners plan mutually beneficial frameworks on issues like sustainability, labor standards, digital trade rules and emerging technologies. Why it matters to India economic boost. The EU is already one of the India's largest trading partners. In 2024 to 2025, bilateral goods trade exceeded $136 billion, with services adding another significant share. Indian industries like textile, pharmaceuticals and IT services, engineering, goods and leather stands to gain from easier access to European markets. Export diversification. India is facing higher tariffs and trade uncertainty in other markets, especially due to fresh US tariffs. This agreement helps Indian exporters diversify destination and reduce dependence on a few trade partners. Foreign investment. Easier market accesses, the stable rules are expected to attract significant EU investment into India's manufacturing, clean energy and technology sectors. Why Europe wants the deal? For the EU, the pact means access to one of the fastest growing consumer markets in the world, reduced regulatory barriers from European companies, strengthening its strategic footprint in the Indo-Pacific, an era of supply chain diversification. European leaders also see the deal as a way to counterbalance protectionist pressures from other global powers and content Europe's role in global trade. Although political agreement has been reached at a summit in New Delhi, the deal must still clear legal vetting, secure approval from the European Parliament, and receive final ratification from all EU member states and India's Parliament. Formal signing is expected to happen within the next few months and official projects implementation beginning in 2027 once all procedures are complete. The India-EU Free Trade Agreement, the mother of all deals, is high-stakes economic pact with the potential to transform trade across to major global economies. It offers expanded market access, investment opportunities, and strategic partnership that could shape global trade partners for decades to come.